Hey, as an elder law attorney, I get asked a lot about Social Security, when to take it and whatnot. So here's 4 tips from an estate planner's perspective on Social Security. So tip number 1, I think is pretty obvious to anybody that studies Social Security, is you have to take it at the right time, but that can be tricky to find, right? Because the longer we put off taking Social Security, the more that check ends up growing. Now, when should you take Social Security is a tough question to answer. And if you have a financial advisor, you need to work through some math with that, because you need to understand if we're going to be living on this check versus living on retirement benefits or any pensions you have. Do you need it is primary question. So there's a lot of mistakes to be made if you take Social Security at the wrong time. So make sure you work with a professional to figure out when it makes sense. Tip number 2 I want you to know about Social Security is there is more than one type of Social Security, okay? So a lot of people talk about Social Security retirement benefits. That's what we all work hard to get so that we can eventually have a paycheck when we're in retirement. But sometimes you'll hear politicians talking about cutting Social Security, and that doesn't just mean retirement benefits. So there's 2 other types of payments I want to talk to you about. One is SSI benefits, supplemental benefits for disabled people. So typically this is someone who's low income, probably on Medicaid, and needs a monthly check. That's not much of a monthly check. If you ask those people, it's hard to get by on that check, but there's SSI. The other one is SSDI, which you could need if you would become disabled. So SSD is available for people who have at least 40 working quarters, so 10 years roughly, of working history, and then subsequently become disabled. You can apply for SSD benefits even if you are younger than 65 years old. So tip number 2 is understand when you hear people talking about Social Security and cutting to Social Security, they may not be talking about the benefit you need. Tip number 3 when it comes to Social Security is don't let the government make a mistake. The government makes mistakes everywhere. Don't let them do it with your working history. So every year they send you the statement on how much money you've made and what your anticipated benefits are. So review it. Keep them honest, make sure they don't make mistakes. They're not trying to keep you from getting your money, but they do occasionally make mistakes. So tip number 3, don't let the government make mistakes. Tip number 4 when it comes to Social Security is to understand the tax implications. So generally speaking, lower income, if you're not working in retirement, your Social Security checks probably not taxable. But sometimes people like to go out and get that retirement job just to have something to do. And if you earn too much money, your Social Security check could become taxable, and that would work against you from a financial standpoint. So understand when your Social Security would become taxable. For most retirees, Social Security is primary source of income. You gotta not make mistakes. Don't take it too soon. Don't let them get your information wrong. So I hope you've enjoyed these tips when it comes to Social Security. And if you want to learn more information about estate planning, check us out at secularlawfirm.com or subscribe to us here on YouTube.